War is a machine that devours humanity, twisting morality and justifying horrors in the name of victory. But sometimes the atrocities committed in secret are even more terrifying than those on the battlefield. Hidden behind laboratory walls, in the shadows of military compounds and prison camps, unspeakable experiments were conducted in the name of science. Today, we will take you deep into the dark corridors of history to uncover the most disturbing and inhumane experiments carried out during World War II. Some were meant to push the boundaries of human endurance. Others aimed to create biological weapons. And some seemed to be carried out for nothing more than sheer cruelty. The Russian Doghead Experiment. In 1940, the Soviet Union released a chilling documentary titled Experiments in the Revival of Organisms. It was meant to showcase groundbreaking Soviet medical advancements, but what it revealed was something straight out of a nightmare. Soviet scientists, led by Dr. Sergei Bryukhanenko, had developed a primitive heart-lung machine called the autojector. Its purpose? To bring the dead back to life. And to prove its power, they chose a shocking subject, a dog's severed head. With the autojector pumping oxygenated blood, the disembodied head began to show signs of life. It blinked, its tongue flicked out at drops of lemon juice. When a scientist shone a light into its eyes, its pupils constricted, a clear response to stimuli. The implications were terrifying. Could life be artificially prolonged, even when the body was gone? If a dog's brain could be revived, could the same be done for humans? The Soviet Union hailed this as a medical revolution. But Western scientists were skeptical, calling the film staged propaganda. Even today, it remains one of the most controversial and disturbing experiments ever documented on film. Unit 731, Japan's Nightmare Lab. In the freezing wastelands of occupied China, the Japanese military operated Unit 731, a secret research facility that disguised itself as a water purification plant. But inside those walls, something far more sinister was happening. Prisoners, mostly Chinese civilians, but also Koreans, Russians, and even American POWs, were taken here. By the thousands, none would leave alive. Unit 731's main goal was to develop biological weapons, but to do this, they needed human test subjects. Some were deliberately infected with the bubonic plague, syphilis, and anthrax. Others were locked inside gas chambers filled with unknown toxins, so scientists could observe the way their bodies twisted and convulsed. The most horrific of all were the live dissections. Prisoners were tied to tables and cut open without anesthesia. Their organs were removed one by one to study how long they could survive. Some victims, still conscious, watched in horror as their own insides were exposed to the freezing air. After the war, instead of being punished, many of these scientists were granted immunity by the U.S. in exchange for their research, the victims. They were forgotten, as if their suffering had never even happened. The Nazi freezing experiments. During the height of the war, Nazi scientists sought to find ways to protect their soldiers from freezing temperatures. But their methods were anything but humane. Prisoners, often Polish and Russian captives, were forcibly submerged in ice-cold water tanks for hours. Their bodies would spasm uncontrollably, frost forming around their lips. As their body temperatures plummeted, the Nazis observed in cold calculation how long it took for a human body to freeze to death. Some were revived using boiling water baths, causing their skin to crack and blister in agony. All of this so that Nazi pilots could survive longer in cold waters after their planes were shot down. The price? Thousands of human lives sacrificed in the name of war. Dr. Mengelé's twin experiments. At Auschwitz, one man became the symbol of horror itself, Dr. Josef Mengele, known as the Angel of Death. He had a fascination with twins. He subjected them to unthinkable experiments, injecting chemicals into their eyes to see if he could change their color, conjoining twins through brutal surgeries, leaving them in agony. If one twin died, the other was killed immediately so their bodies could be compared. The Nazi pursuit of scientific knowledge was built on horrors beyond imagination. War destroys morality. It pushes the boundaries of science, sometimes into monstrous territories. These stories remind us of what happens when ethics are abandoned. Let us never forget the victims of these cruel experiments. If you like this video, click that subscribe button for more videos like this.